Ukraine's foreign minister vows to liberate the whole country no matter how long it takes, saying they're preparing for a long war.
Spain's socialist government has secured the presidency parliament after gaining support of Catalan nationalist parties.
A triathlon event in Paris started with a splash, with the swimming leg of the event taking place in the River Seine.
Intense fighting continues along the front line in Ukraine. The country's foreign minister has admitted that the counter-offensive is progressing more slowly than expected, and fatigue is setting in. But, says Dmytro Kuleba, the stakes are too high to allow this to impact decisions, and Ukrainians are preparing for a long battle.
Але наша мета – це перемога. Перемога у вигляді звільнення наших територій в межах кордонів 91-го року. І нам байдуже, скільки часу це займе. До тих пір, поки український народ буде поділяти цю ціль, українська влада буде рухатися нога в ногу зі своїм народом.
After years of neglect, Kyiv has launched a diplomatic operation in Africa in the hope of gaining its support in the face of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It wants to reduce Moscow's hold on the continent, which he says is based on coercion, corruption and fear. Kuleba says he doesn't feel pressure from Western allies to speed up its counteroffensive. While the West has already sent Kyiv weapons worth tens of billions of euros, he stressed the need for more.
Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations in western Zaporizhzhia region and have advanced east of Robotyne, says the Institute for the Study of War in its latest update. Now let's focus on this specific area today. Now the think tank refers to the geolocated footage which indicates that Ukrainian forces have advanced northeast of Robotyne. Here it is on the map, and have likely made wider gains in the surrounding areas given weeks of consistent Ukrainian activity in the forested areas northeast of the settlement here. Now, Russian bloggers claim that small Ukrainian infantry groups with armored vehicle support continued assaults north and northeast of Robotyne and in the direction of Verbove here, adding that Ukrainian vehicles can move more freely in the area due to the Ukrainian forces clearing minefields. Robotyne lies about 10 kilometers south from Orikhiv, here it is on the map, and about 80 kilometers from Melitopol, the city that Russian troops are using as a major logistics hub for occupied territories in the south of Ukraine. Russian sources claim that Ukrainian forces have committed, quote, their main reserves to the counteroffensive operations here in western Zaporizhzhia region based on scattered observations of Western-equipped Ukrainian units. But the Institute for the Study of War says Russian sources appear to be incorrectly portraying Ukrainian reserves as one large unitary contingent that Ukraine could commit to fighting as a whole. A few days ago, the US-based think tank said Ukrainian counteroffensive operations appear to be forcing Russian military to laterally redeploy Russian forces in western Zaporizhzhia region, indicating that the Ukrainian effort there may be significantly degrading Russian defenses.
Spain's newly elected parliament has voted by a majority to elect a socialist candidate as chamber speaker, breathing some life into acting socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez's aspirations of forming another leftist government.
El resultado de la votación ha sido el siguiente. Votos emitidos 350. 178 a favor de doña Francina Armengol.
The candidate got the full support of left-wing parties and nationalists, including Junts. In exchange for Junts support, the socialists promised to promote co-official languages in Congress, an investigation into the Pegasus case, and measures to, quote, end the repression when it comes to the illegal referendum in Catalonia. At last month's general election, no political group had an easy path to form a government. Left and right-wing parties had almost the same number of seats and will therefore also need support from other parties.
The Arrow 3 missile defense system. Jointly developed with the United States, Washington on Thursday gave Israel the green light to sell the hypersonic system to Germany in a deal worth €3.2 billion. Arrow 3 is an interceptor designed to shoot down ballistic missiles outside the Earth's atmosphere. The defence sale, Israel's biggest ever, comes as European nations build up their arms in response to Russia's war in Ukraine.
אישור המכירה של מערכת ח'-3 שניתן על ידי האמריקאים הוא דבר משמעותי מאוד בדרך למימוש העסקה בין ישראל לבין גרמניה. מערכת ח'-3 היא המערכת המתקדמת מסוגה בעולם, פיתוח משותף של ישראל ושל ארצות הברית, והמערכת הזאת בעזרתנו תיתן הגנה לגרמניה. אנחנו מאוד גאים בכך.
The final contract for the deal is expected to be signed by the end of this year, following approval by both the German and Israeli parliaments. Berlin expects the Arrow 3 system to be delivered in the final quarter of 2025. Extreme weather continues across Europe. On the Spanish island of Tenerife, an area of 26 square kilometers has already burned down, and some 8,000 people have either been evacuated or are confined to their homes. The island's president says high temperatures have turned the area into a virtual oven.
Las labores y las operaciones que se han tenido que hacer a lo largo de la noche con muchas dificultades y mucha complejidad. Este probablemente sea el incendio más complejo que hemos tenido en Canarias, si no de siempre, al menos de los últimos 40 años.
Officials deployed 17 aircraft and 350 firefighters and members of the Spanish army to tackle the blaze. The fire, which broke out on Tuesday night, is burning through forests in a mountainous region to the north of the island, a key tourist destination. They're racing to control the blaze ahead of increased temperatures expected over the weekend. Meanwhile, in Germany, these images show water cascading down escalators to the platforms in a Frankfurt tube station. Heavy rain in the region resulted in dozens of flights to and from the city being diverted or cancelled on Wednesday evening. The storm also caused flooding in other regions across the country.
Azerbaijan claims a mass grave has been discovered in the compound of a prison that was controlled by Armenians from 1992 to 2020. Officials from Azerbaijan say the remains of 17 people have been found with evidence of torture on their bodies. The jail's called Shusha by Azeris and Shushi by Armenians and was originally built in Soviet times. Armenian authorities have not commented on the claim. Euronews was given permission to film inside the abandoned prison.
Sky-high numbers of migrants are arriving on Italy's shores, and the country's far-right Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, is facing increasing pressure at home. Promises she made during her election campaign about curbing the number of arrivals appear increasingly empty, as our correspondent Giorgia Orlandi explains.
It looks like Giorgia Meloni's government is facing its first real crisis. Over 100,000 migrants, in fact, have arrived in Italy since the beginning of the year. That's according to Italy's Interior Ministry. And that's the highest figure ever recorded since 2017. And this year could begin to approach the all-time record of 180,000 migrants who arrived in Italy back in 2016. Giorgia Meloni's right-wing government came to power in part on pledges of a crackdown on people smugglers, but also to stem the flow of migrants arriving from North Africa. We know that the majority of these migrants are now arriving from Tunisia, where it cracked down on sub-Saharan migrants, but also good weather conditions are some of the reasons why so many migrants now decide to embark on the difficult journey. Now, opposition MPs have accused the Giorgia Meloni's government of a manifest failure in its management of immigration, even more so after Italy and the EU recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Tunisia, which provides over 100 million euros worth of direct EU aid to prevent migrants from reaching Europe. Giorgia Orlandi for Euronews in Rome.
Spain's Crown Princess Leonor is joining the military on a 3-year programme. She'll spend 1 year each in the Spanish Army, Navy and Air Force. The training will prepare the first in line to the throne for her future role as head of state, the royal family said. In Spain, the head of state is also commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Many royal fans are pinning their hopes on the 17-year-old daughter of Spain's King Felipe VI to help preserve the monarchy in Spain, following a number of scandals in recent years. The Hollywood star Bradley Cooper is facing criticism after the release of the trailer for Maestro. He directed the film and plays the protagonist, the famous conductor and composer Leonard Bernstein. It's his decision to wear a prosthetic nose to portray Bernstein that has led to accusations of anti-Semitism by critics who see it as serving stereotypes. They also say the role should have been played by a Jewish actor. However, Cooper can count on the support of Bernstein's children, who have all defended him and the film's portrayal of their father.
It's 2.
1 year before the Olympic Games in Paris, the world's best female triathletes competed in a test event. The winner was British competitor Beth Potter, who crossed the line first, followed by French woman Cassandre Beaugrand. The third place went to the American Taylor Spivey. The triathlon event runs until Sunday in the heart of the French capital, with the swimming portion of the race taking place in the River Seine, starting from the bottom of this spectacular 19th century Alexandre III bridge and its golden statues. As for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, there are also plans to hold some of the competitions in the river. Water quality checks are carried out on the Seine before any open water event.